Good afternoon. This is Steve Caton with the National Weather Service in Blacksburg. It's Sunday, June 5th, about 1:30 in the afternoon, and this is an updated briefing on the expectations for some severe weather developing very soon this afternoon and lasting into the evening across much of our area, especially east of the Blue Ridge. The briefing slide here that's shown just generally depicts the slight risk from parts of the New River Valley and up through Allegheny Highlands and then eastward, and then an enhanced risk where the chances are even a little bit better for severe weather from about Danville, Lynchburg, up through Charlottesville and points eastward. Now this is primarily going to be a severe weather, or a damaging wind threat, perhaps a little bit of hail, but I think winds will be the main threat, straight line winds. However, there's a possibility of a couple of tornadoes, especially the farther east you go, and the image on the right depicts that, showing a small chance for that basically along the Blue Ridge and eastward, and then that chance increases as you get into eastern Virginia and then north of there. So that would be just a little east of our area where the chances for tornadoes this evening would be the highest. But there's at least a small threat for that in our area. Let's talk just a little bit about some of the timing and what to expect with this as the afternoon and evening progresses. Now, this current analysis shows there's a frontal boundary still actually well back to the let me step through to the current time again. Frontal boundary well back to the west of us still in the Ohio Valley, but there is a line of showers and a few storms now developing actually well out ahead of that, and this little trough, this dash line here, is sort of a convergent zone where we might see new storms developing here just in the next couple hours by 2 or 3 o'clock this afternoon. Now a few showers and storms could move in from the west. We don't think those will be particularly strong. We're expecting new storms to develop out where there's been some better heating and some sunshine so far today. Then if you look at the forecast, by the time we get into this evening, you can see that the threat for thunder primarily is in the red and dark green here, moving through the eastern part of our area. The frontal boundary is still back to our west, so some showers, maybe a few storms along that, but the severe threat will primarily be east of this dash line into central and eastern Virginia by 8 o'clock this evening, and then by overnight tonight that all moves well to the east and the front finally pushes through itself. So most of this severe development today is actually a little out ahead of the main cold front. So again, looking at the latest outlook that's been updated just about an hour or so ago, you can see the slight risk that does include some of the mountains. I think that would primarily be wind damage, but the bigger threat is as you move east of the Blue Ridge and probably closer to Danville, Lynchburg, and points eastward. Now that includes the tornado threat, as we mentioned, and let me show you that a little bit more detail, putting on some of the counties, and you can see that slight risk for tornadoes is maybe from about Martinsville up through Lynchburg and eastward, but as I mentioned earlier, increasing as you go even farther east. And that would be probably from about 4 o'clock, 3 or 4 o'clock, but primarily more towards early evening as you move farther east. I think these will be very isolated tornado potential. Again, the strong winds is the main concern. Here's a close-up of the overall outlook, which was shown on that briefing slide. Really, if you're from Danville, Lynchburg, and eastward, the most concern for more likelihood to be impacted by some damaging winds. Some of this could be fairly widespread. We're not expecting an entire line, but some clusters of storms, so lots of folks in this area could end up with some wind damage, and it would be more isolated back to the west from, say, Blacksburg, Roanoke, and up towards Lexington. Also, just moments ago, about 1:15 or so, the Storm Prediction Center put out a mesoscale discussion suggesting that it's very likely we'll have a watch issued for this area outlined in blue, so look for a severe thunderstorm. It might possibly be a tornado watch, but I think the initial threat's severe. So a watch will probably be issued by 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock at the latest. So watch for that next, and followed by probably some warnings after that. And then finally, there is also, since the ground has been pretty saturated, any of these storms will have some pretty high rainfall rates, so localized flash flooding is possible. There's a flash flood watch for Sterling's area, Nelson and Augusta County northward. We can't rule it out in our area. We did not put out a watch, but some isolated flash flooding is possible. The storms will be moving pretty quickly. That's the one nice thing, but they could have some pretty heavy rates. So if they move over areas that had heavy rainfall just yesterday, that can be a concern as well. But I think the primary concern for the rest of the afternoon and into the evening will be the damaging winds, A lot of lightning with some of these storms, and cannot rule out a tornado. So we'll be watching for that very, very closely, especially the farthest east part of our areas, late this afternoon and into early this evening before things finally move out. I think by 9 or 10 o'clock this evening we should be in the clear. So really the time to watch is from basically right now all the way through 9 or 10 o'clock. And stay tuned to our webpage. Facebook and Twitter will be the quickest ways to get watches and warnings from the National Weather Service, and of course NOAA Weather Radio as well. So just pay attention to everything throughout the afternoon. I hope everybody stays safe, and that's the latest from National Weather Service Blacksburg on the severe weather threat. Thank you.